are they like just trying to win their lane super hard again? Because they got Ench Dawn, both lane dominators. And it's just like, it makes me really unhappy seeing the lack of synergy in this team right now because they don't have, like outside of Tiny, there's no real stun or lockdown for the stag link to go off. There's no cancel for the black hole. You have a Dawnbreaker ult, but usually this is paired with something that sets up for you. So people would pick a hero with a stun, like a Void Spirit for example, and then they would just Dawn ult on top of that and like follow up. So Dawn and Tiny, they kind of work. Like if Tiny finds someone with Blink, Avalanche, and Toss, like you can Dawn ult on top. But like that's kind of it. And like they don't have any other real control, AoE control of SMG right now. Like they're gonna be able to get their spells off pretty freely. This is concerning to me. SMG on the other hand, I really like their lineup. They have a lot of magic damage. They have a lot of team, like, well, they have pretty decent team fight. They're gonna be able to fight pretty actively with the Viper and Ember. Like this is not heroes that get rolled by Ench Dawn.
Yeah.
Do you feel that NGX.SEA sometimes get a little too tunnel visioned and focus only on half of what their draft really needs to execute, like doing well in lanes, but not really looking when it gets to further in the later game?
I have literally spent 2 tours talking about how bad Nigma's drafts are, and it has never improved.
Where you asked me one day, and then like a week later, Fear asked me, it's like, the NGX have a coach? Their draft's really bad.
Yeah.
And Fear lost the same thing a week later. And I was like, yeah, they do. They have 2, like 1.5 coaches, you know, X-Freedom as well as Adam there, but it's definitely, I feel like part of it is like playstyle wise and like their players they have, like some of them are limited, so that they try and cater to their players with their draft maybe, and yeah, things often end up in weird places with their drafts.
Like we might just see in this one.
Okay. How do I fix this draft?
I mean, it's like what role they picking. We don't know where Dawn's going. We don't know where Razor's going. We don't know where Tiny's going.
They would
It's
want.
gonna be carry Razor.
They want
3
Razor off lane,
Dawn,
I think.
4 Tiny.
I feel like they want an objective / Roche taker, like you're playing on raid. I guess you kind of can with Hench Razor.
I think they need a mid laner right now. I think Dreamercell's probably going to play as Dawn carry. And I think Razor should want to be paired off lane against the carry Ember. I think it'll be mid one.
Okay. It's like a Razor Tiny lane.
Yeah, I think they want mid and they need it. They should just pick a Void Spirit or something and just see if they can just fight. Because I want to see more damage coming out from them.
What about Meepo?
Meepo? Is that a joke? Don't ever say his name again.
That's not very nice of you.
It's not nice of you.
Damn.
I don't listen to you.
Leave the dead in the ground, actually.
I like it.
They get the zoo. You wanted
Okay.
zoo. It's not Beastmaster, but it's Lycan.
Okay, I'll take
I'm
it.
on board with this.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
There's your object. That's kind of what I was hoping for, like some
Interesting.
objective Roche taker type hero.
Yeah.
Because, like, especially playing Radiant side, I think the advantage of Radiant side should be Roshan. You want to be able to push and secure Roche when you're playing Radiant. And yeah, none of these heroes address this.
So then how are SMG gonna respond to this? What
Underlord would be really nice if they have room for an offlaner. Probably not,
They got,
though.
like 2 offlaners already.
Yeah. Well, they could put Viper mid, Ember carry, and
Yeah,
like
it's-
Enigma 4 pause with an Underlord, but they don't have to do that if they don't want to. I don't think they should. They need a
No.
carry or a mid
So we bust out like a Sven.
or a support, even. They could just
Yeah.
get support. I don't know who.
The mid one pick would just be like Monkey King. You love his monkey. It is still in the pool,
Yeah.
but it's not really a Lycan answer. It's not terrible versus Lycan at the same time.
Anything else you feel the lineup might be lacking? Not so much looking to counter the Lycan. If we're still a little bit unsure where all the heroes are going.
I think damage personally, like yeah, the
Yeah, more
Enigma can kind of
burst.
ramp up late game, but I think throughout the early to mid game, a carry with some damage output, which I think that's to me what I would like to see a carry or mid. Whether Ember's mid or carry, I think they want to pick a mid or carry because they need some more
Lena.
damage.
Lena
output.
would be
Oh,
that's fine. Well, she
yeah.
kind of gets killed by the Lycan, though. Maybe she can. I mean, she can kind of stand her ground, but she doesn't deal very well with all the units. I would think she might struggle if it is a mid Lena.
I mean, Puck would be great if it's still in the pool, but
Although she would actually have a good lane mid against whoever they put there, so that would be fine.
And before we see something like super wild, like out of left field.
yeah, I think it's a
But
mid
no
one
one's
pick. I mean,
mentioned.
I could see like something crazy like a Sven. That would be my crazy pick.
Oh.
They're just gonna eat the creep. That's like the idea. That they get
Okay.
the shard.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, they definitely had to talk about where all of the heroes were going, which lanes, because they've picked them all up already. Ares and Danog are going to join us for the last time today. Now you've seen SMG's lineup. We're also seeing NGX.SEA, where they're putting all of their heroes. Danog. Actually, no, we'll go with Ares, because we didn't get to talk to you last time. Ares, you can give us a little bit of insight.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. We've got a last pick Night Stalker. Like I think Sheep just said, it's going to be interesting with the Agshard looking to eat the creep. I do really feel like, though, this Lycan kind of fixes the draft on NGX.SEA. I didn't really know where it was going. I think this hero for Dream Missile, though, they're going to look to just completely run over the game. But can they do it now into this pseudo answer in the Night Stalker?
Yeah, very, very good question. But Danog, do you like where NGX.SEA's draft went? Did it get fixed for you, or SMG just way too good?
I wanted a little bit more control out of Nigma, and I really wanted a Bristleback instead of this Night Stalker. I thought it would have done pretty well against multiple of their heroes, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, potential for a relegation game, and we get a POS 1 Night Stalker, so I'm keen to see how this one turns out.
Is this draft enough to save NGX.SEA themselves from relegation?
Yeah, it could be for sure. Last time we saw Night Stalker, it really struggled because it's your carry, and during day he's just not a carry, like not a hero even.
Yeah, it might be
So,
the same
yeah.
issue as
I'm playing to like Razor and Lycan. Like I mean, yeah, the Shard is good against Lycan, but I don't feel like you feel good about playing Night Stalker into Razor. So I like NGX's draft, but I think SMG's a better team.
Okay, well,
Could
they
go either way.
both have positives, they both have cons, but this is game number 3. NGX.SEA need a win to have a fighting chance for Division 1, but Ares and Danog, take it away.
Thank you, Nat. I don't know what's going on. It's a game 3 where we get another quirky draft. 3 games in a row. NGX.SEA and SMG really bring the action here. I regardless feel like this is a game where we are going to have kill after kill, and what else you would expect from an SMG lineup.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do completely agree with Shippo's point, though, right? Like, what do you do when it's daytime? How are you actually looking to make a lot of this aggression happen? We saw last time around, yeah, he died a few times, but Raging Potato still focused a lot on picking up that farm for himself. He finished, I believe, 2nd on net worth in the entire team, only behind Moon's Puck. So it really was on the back of him, just making sure that he was this hero that's enabling the siege, because when you think about it, that is actually one of the big weaknesses in SMG's draft. You need the Viper with that Aghanim Shard to be able to take some of these towers, unless you win a team fight real quickly, and then you can use the lingering Dark Ascension to be able to get some of those right clicks in.
Yeah, man, I feel like there's a lot going on with this draft. Late game, there's no black hole answer from NGX.SEA. Late game, there's no Ember answer as well. It's a free Ember game. You have nothing to deal with him at all. It's going to be a position too tiny, so maybe that burst potential early is going to come through, or it should be too late of a Blink Dagger. Hold that thought as Mizu's pumping in a lot of damage into Arfu, so we might see the Enigma go all the way back to base, but yeah, the late game, NGX.SEA, they do not have the answers at all to, I think, SMG and some of their very important components of their lineup, but can they get to the late game? Do NGX.SEA just run over this game? Because SMG also have a pretty decent mid-game timing as well. So regardless, I just feel like we're in store for an incredibly exciting game 3.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Afu, he didn't go all the way back to base. He's had to eat 2 tangos already just to be able to get back out into the lane. But Yokan going to level 1 on the tree grab, already cleared out 2 of those Eidolons. So nice little win already coming out here for NGX.SEA up on the top lane. It's a tower dive by Moon already. He's getting... Moon? Oof, damn. Getting down real low already.
I think Sheep was also mentioning about the Dawnbreaker 2 and saying that it's a hero that we've seen a lot of success over in Eastern Europe when they've been playing it. I think Alacrity was at a stage where he could have taken over that game. Just, again, the one item that was picked up, the Orchid into the Bloodthorn, proved to be a really big issue for the Dawnbreaker. He was having an incredible start, but without being able to find that BKB was a big concern. So I don't hate that they've gone back for this Dawnbreaker on Alacrity. There might be some issues, though, with the effectiveness you can get out of the Solar Guardian. You don't have the greatest ways to set up for the early rotation coming through.
It's still, like, Moon's game to lose, though, as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you actually lock him down? So it's going to be heavily on him to be able to play around those times where it is the daytime or it's nighttime and Dark Ascension isn't quite as readily available. So we'll see if he's able to do it. Again, it feels like they've really given him the reins to say, look, game 1 didn't work out too well for us. Moon, you still perform pretty decently, so let's try and allow you to carry the game for us, because they don't want tiebreakers. They don't want that risk and that stress of potentially having to play another series in a couple of days.
How do you think this bottom lane's going to go with Ragey Potato and Pylai Dai? Again, we're going to see Arfu kind of playing in the safe lane on the Enigma, but do you feel like this Viper, often a lot of, again, people will say it's, you win the lane, you lose the game. Can he win this lane, though, against an Enchantress and the like? And they have a lot of summons, and Viper does not deal with summons well.
He doesn't, and the other thing that this lineup really doesn't deal well, or rather this lane on SMG doesn't deal well, is the harassment coming up from the Enchantress. I was really hoping for them to go into something like a Sniper, just because if you go a melee support and then a ranged core, Sniper's going to outtrade you every single time. Throughout our, we're talking about Eastern Europe a lot, but throughout our series, we just hear a lot of the players say, look, something like a Sniper Treant is so busted in the right game because there's just nothing you can do against it. This beefy frontliner and this overwhelming damage. Well, Enchantress, even as a support, does just as much damage.
Well, the battle continuing between Alacrity and Moon. It's really been the X factors in a lot of these games, and Moon, you see how he's pathing kind of to the right side, did have this ward inside the jungle, was able to scout out Yokam moving over. If he gets some vision on Moon, he might chuck the tree, but he's not going to see the Ember healing up off the back of the Selv.
A lot of XP that he's losing, though, as Alacrity not even hitting the creep wave at all, wanting to make sure that he's just getting those creeps denied as quickly as possible.
I think the big thing, though, is the fact that it pulls the Tiny out of top, so mid one and Arfu is able to play the lane against Mizu, which is the important thing. The Night Stalker's not the greatest laner, and Razor can be quite a lane dominator as well, but you see mid one is off to a decent start.
Just with Boombui, just looking to continue the harass down on this bottom side. He's already separated himself a little bit, just getting a little bit more of that net worth than the rest of the other supports, and it's all on the back of just being able to be this little bit greedier, go to the jungle, and then any time that Raging Potato comes on forward, he just dies pretty instantly.
Again, mid lane though, Moon. Man, that slight. Jesus. They are playing
Pi
on the edge. He's going to be able to enter in. 2 points in the battery soul should be enough to get the kill on Alacrity. A little bit of health's going to come back. Moon's going to be cautious about entering this skirmish, and it will not matter. It's going to be Moon that secures first blood. That's a big kill for the Ember to find, considering a lot of this lane is being down in a low health threshold.
Even making sure to build up some stacks, realizing that it wasn't the greatest start until that first blood came out for his Ember. So just going back, soaking up a little bit of that experience.
Raging Potato is in trouble. There we go. Boombui just gets the enchant. Centaur Conqueror and the summons can do the work. Dream Missile gets the kill. Beautifully done. Nice wraparound from Boombui.
Topside as well, though. I mean, it's nighttime, and mid one continuing to just put himself at the top of the net worth charts. He really wants to... I mean, has he got a phase boots coming out to him already? It feels like they're almost in a state where they could look to go for a kill, particularly onto Yokam here. He's out of position.
Gonna attempt it. Yokam trying to hold mid one back with the avalanche, but with the nighttime, and mid one has the phase boots as well. It's a big kill for the Night Stalker to find. We haven't seen this hero played as a carry in quite some time. Really, the only time I can remember is back when the Night Stalker, Scepter, and the Coddle was a thing. That was really China that kind of innovated that build. Do we have an early rotation from Bui? Pylai Dai is not going to get much effectiveness out of the Battery Assault with the Centaur Conqueror stuck inside the cog. So this time, Pylai Dai not be as effective with the rotation.
It's important for him to be there, though. Moon wasn't quite level 6 just yet, so he was very vulnerable if they ended up getting that enchant in onto Moon. Up top, Mizu's taking a little bit of harass. They might consider going for the dive here.
But they're going to dive bottom lane, though. Raging Potato, again, the Centaur Conqueror and the wraparound on the Viper. This time he's going to have a little bit more lane to play with right next to the T1 tower. They will not be able to continue with the dive. Back up the top, though it goes. The Solar Guardian. Oh, beautifully done. Yokam with a chain control. Holds it mid one into the Solar Guardian and Alacrity. There we go. First use of the Solar Guardian.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Boomboy is just continuing to dominate this bottom lane though, right? He's going forward, he's making sure to block up a bunch of camps, steal away some of the farm, and just rotate right back on through. Wants to make sure that he's able to secure a lot of that early farm potential, a lot of that pushing power for Nigma.SEA. And I do like the fact that they've gone a bit of a different route. You know, going greedy, worked out for them once, but that was really on the back of SMG's lack of activity. You know, they didn't have the tools to be able to punish. This time around, they're like, all right, well, we'll try and play you at your own game. We'll play a lot more aggressively. We'll continue to push forward. We'll look to try and take some of your towers away and see how you like it.
Die down bottom. See how much damage they're going to be able to pump out. Boomboy. 1 point in the impetus. Now we do see DreamSL has this Helm of the Overlord queued up. Do you feel like this... Do you feel like he has to swap his build because he's playing to the Night Stalker?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I really wouldn't hate to see him go the Dominator to be able to start out with, and you're not exactly wanting to go a Wraith Pact as a position 1 either as mid lane. They're going on to Moon a little bit here.
Well, supports from NGX.SEA might be able to bring down Pylight Die, but the Cog's proving to be an issue. Meanwhile, for the side though, Arfu's going to lose his life, but SMG, they're still able to continue the aggression. Raging Potato, with the help of the Ember Spirit, get the kill onto the Tiny. Raging Potato tries to TP out, and the damage not enough from Lycan.
I'm just trying to think what other avenues he might choose to go down here. As
mid lane
makes the rotation.
The Dark Ascension committed on early. Alacrity doesn't have many one charges to play with, and nice movement from mid one. First use of the ultimate. They're going to look to get a little bit of damage into the tower as well.
He's just trying to force some rotations. Of course, as the Night Stalker, you're going to become instantly aware of it. It's like having map hacks, basically. Just being able to see completely around it. So not wanting to waste a TP on NGX.SEA, especially considering you've got people like Arfu just waiting there. All he needs is that little bit of information. And now that the Dark Ascension goes away, they're feeling a little bit more confident in going forward and trying to drag this creep wave off the tower. It is still very single target, though, to be able to deal with all of these Eidolons.
Yeah, I'm really trying to think on what DreamSL can go this game, because I feel like you go down this Helm of the Overlord route. It's a heavy commitment into a really cheap counter with the Aghanim Shard. So I don't know. Of course, he's still got some time to go. It looks like he's actually started to work on the Vlads, but we'll see how much that's gonna bite them in the back in the future. But for NGX.SEA, are we expecting them to make any early rotations for any objectives?
It's going to be hard. Again, we've got this next minute or so where you just can't do anything on mid one. So they're going to try and get him into that armlet, and then around that timing is when they're going to look to try and make a bit more of an aggressive move. You've also got Arfu closing in on that level 6. He's even got a Tumbler's Toy. Great item for an Enigma to be able to pick up. Looks like they're trying to make a bit of a defense happen top, but I mean, this is an Enchantress who just can soak up so much of those tower hits, and they're looking to try and make the full wraparound happen. Great positioning by Yokam.
And it is, but still the rest of the team are pretty far pushed on forward, and Pylight Die, he connects on the hook shot. So even though they ran into Yokam and NGX.SEA, they were still playing far out in the lane. But the hook instantly in. Mizu, he'll be the only death in, well, SMG. They're able to continue to hold this T1 tower top.
Yeah. Since he didn't actually use a TP to get up to the top side, Moon instantly able to TP down, use his Sleight of Fist as well as a lot of this Flame Guard to be able to remove the threat of the Lycan from taking out his tier 1.
Top lane, Yokam under the threat of being dived. Solid Guardian's going to come through. It gives them the +1. They'll still lose out on the Tiny's life. They're going to be cautious again. Oh, Fu is in with the black hole, but the cancel, there wasn't any follow-up afterwards. It'll be a double kill for Alacrity. Beautifully done. Bottom lane, though, DreamSL is trying to man-fight Moon. Moon's going to be cautious. Shapeshift's ready to rock and roll. He gets the chase down. Does DreamSL, he'll have the movement speed to escape the Night Stalker's grasp as well. So multiple ultimates expended, but it's DreamSL coming out on top, getting the kill onto Moon and the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, getting a little bit cocky there on Moon. He had plenty of Fire Remnants to play around with, but just didn't want to save the mana for it. He was just spamming out those Flight of Fists, wanting to defend, honestly, a pretty ineffective tier 1 tower. Top side, Inch taking a bit of harass.
Oh, Boom Buoy. Should end up ticking out. Yeah, Ragey Potato gets a kill. It's another game that Viper's doing very well in regards to the net worth. We saw multiple deaths to start here for Ragey Potato, but he's off to a good start. Dragonlance soon to be completed. And for his counterpart in the offlane, Mizu, Falcon Blade into the BKB. Mizu's going to have some difficulties with being able to take these engagements prior to the BKB.
For sure. I mean, he might be forced to make something happen if there's a poor use of the Dark Ascension while just having an Ogre Axe, let's say, just so that he doesn't get immediately burst down at the start of these engagements. But they need a way to be able to respond to, honestly, even the Viper. Viper feels like the best target for the Static Link right now.
Concerns on NGX.SEA in their playmaking. They're going to continue to butt their heads top, but there won't be a Lycan for this fight, and you don't have Solar Guardian as well. It's on cooldown for another 10 seconds, so NGX.SEA just getting a little bit aggressive before they have kind of everything available to take these engagements, so it'll come at a cost in Yokam's life.
It still opens up the map a little bit for them, though, right? They've taken a couple of tier 1 towers, very important. It sucks to lose a position 4, but it's just a position 4 at the end of the day. I was thinking maybe Mizu didn't need to be up there, and he also popped the Eye of the Storm just to dissuade Pilot Eye from continuing on forward onto him. But gives him a little bit more space to farm.
Is there a team that you feel like is happier with the status quo that we have currently?
I mean, I was about to say SMG, but I only just saw Alacrity's net worth relative to Ember. He's more than 2,000 net worth ahead of him somehow. Like, it's just kind of crazy how quickly he's been able to extend this as, well, Mizu, it won't be looking too well for him if he just continues to stay up top.
Alacrity's going to join, though. Solar Guardian not enough to keep Mizu alive. This is a big kill if they can get Alacrity, and he just enters the fight. The rest of NGX.SEA, they're a little bit too late, and I don't know if they're going to have the damage. Maybe with Dreamer Cell rotating, but they toss the Viper away from Dreamer Cell. He'll chase down the Enigma regardless, but a beautiful cogs from Pilot Die, giving Ragey Potato more breathing room to escape him. Uh-oh, Moon's rotating. He's got the haste. They got to get out. I don't know if they can on NGX.SEA. What's the play? What's the call? And it looks like Yokam, he's going to be brought down in the tree line. Dreamer Cell is going to try and beat onto Pilot Die, but this is going to give a free fight over to Ragey Potato as the Viper stacking up the poison. Mizu's back alive. He's going to try and charge towards Ragey Potato. The stun's still on cooldown, but they have the damage to take his life.
Ooh. And it's just back and forth, back and forth. Man, how quickly did Alacrity go down in that previous engagement? Like, he makes the good rotation in to try and save Mizu, but Mizu walks out of the Solar Guardian. Obviously, you don't want to just take more right clicks as well from the Viper, so it's understandable. Pi just sniped 2 Ancient Creeps, by the way, from the other side of the map, so very nicely done by him. But Alacrity, he needs this BKB. He needs to be able to just stand there and be able to withstand the Viper's damage that he's got early on. Even just the clockwork. Maxed out, battery assault, kind of crazy.
Is this blink on Arfu? Oh boy, it is indeed. Arfu, he's going to jump in. Yokam is too far to the north to be able to cancel the black hole. They'll get the full effectiveness out of it, but he can break the combo. Pilot Die. Now Radiant should consider to sweep to their location. Mid one, he's going to join the fray. A Dark Ascension, in he goes with the armlet. He's able to kill off one, and Arfu, he's got the Melf as well to be able to hold back Dreamer Cell at the front of the tier 2 tower, but SMG, they don't care about how deep they chase. They're tanky enough to not be worried about the towers.
This is one of those times where you probably could afford to be a tiny bit more greedy on Nigma. I was saying before, you just can't take these team fights unless you've got the BKB available on Alacrity. So he's going to go down to this bottom side, get this juicy creep wave for himself, and then after that, maybe NGX.SEA could just take a fight that's a little bit more advantageous for them. Mizu, in the meantime, hasn't really extended his net worth that much either. Just getting up the Ogre Axe. Still going to be quite some time until he's got his own magic immunity.
Oh, Buoy? Oh, it was a nice attempt, but mid one, he'll be able to cut down the trees and run into the Enchantress. So Buoy's going to make him work for it. See what's happening across the map, though, from NGX.SEA. They are getting mid shoved out, giving some time for Yokam to work towards the blink. It's going to be a bit of a late blink timing here for the Tiny, though.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
expected. He hasn't had the greatest start to the game. And that toss onto the Viper was actually a pretty big deal. He ended up getting the kill in the end.
Wait, Mizu? Oh no, just run straight to Rage Potato and Pylite die. And Alacrity, well, he's committed with the Solar Guardian as well. Has the BKB to be able to play with. And under cover of the Magic community, will be able to TP up. At SMG, they've got the nighttime advantage and they're hunting. Relentless from them. Don't want to give any breathing room to the lads on Radiant. And Yokam will be an extra death to the tally.
And, I mean, DreamerCell can't even join this fight. Look at his items. He has a Helm of the Overlord, and that's it. Quelling Blade after that. Have a look at mid one. He's got the Aghanim Shard. So what do? You turn up to a fight, and then you're just, like, a naked Lycan, level 11?
And they're into Roche. SMG with a 4,000 net worth lead. Oh, scary signs for NGX.SEA. How can they stabilize this game, Danog?
It's gonna be rough, I'll say that much. I mean, got that extra life now available. Assuming that they're not going to come and contest this, but I really don't feel like they're in a position to. Even just Yokam, right? He's making the rotation through to try and contest this Roshan, but it's nighttime. They haven't used anything. They nearly caught out DreamerCell there. Pi only slightly off the mark with the hook shot.
Oh, eat the Creed. Oh my god.
Goodbye, Ancient Black Dragon.
Goodbye, Boombui as well. Fu blocking off the escape avenue of the Enchantress. T2 Tower not in between them and this kill.
They need BKBs, and they need to take fights during the day. That's all I got. You need some kind of way to make sure that this Aghanim Shard on the Night Stalker isn't just completely taking out. How much net worth is that? Like 6,000 net worth from your position 1?
Mid lane?
Moon doesn't have mana.
Moon might be in a bit of
Neither
trouble with the
does
Solid
Nigma.
Guardian. They'll get the first kill. They're going to try and move it over to Moon. Playing with some bottle sips. Nice sidestep. Pylite dies going to be off the mark, but he can at least hold back DreamerCell inside the cogs. And a mid one's going to work for the damage. DreamerCell, he can't be able to evade that attempt. And meanwhile, off to the side, Rage Potato gets a finishing blow onto Yokam, and they're not done. Alacrity doesn't want to pop a defensive BKB. Mid one. He's going for it, and why not? He's got the Aegis, and now they're in trouble. Finally, the BKB, but it won't get you out of the cogs. They can turn to deal with Pylite Die, however. So NGX.SEA still got to be cautious. Boom, booey. Just venturing up a little bit too far forward as SMG, they were still sticking around.
Still sticking around. They're going to force out a glyph most likely, but this is their timing. They need to go right now on Nigma.SEA if they're going to have any chance. It still is into the blink black hole, though, that Enigma has, but it's daytime. You don't have the Dark Ascension. You got to just get one of these ancient creeps and look to go with it. Pretty terrible one, the Ancient Ice Shaman, but this is it. You have to make the most out of what small opportunities you have.
Yeah. It's unfortunate you don't have the BKB onto Mizu. Here, that very much relies on it, but like you said, you can't wait around. You got a slither of a window. Daytime, no Dark Ascension. You gotta make a go. You gotta make a play. But where do you go to? You have a ward top that's going to expire shortly. No one's there. And they just made their way through the triangle as well. So SMG have a lot of information to be playing with. And you see, they're doing so accordingly, just on the complete opposite side of the map, making sure there is no chance for NGX.SEA to get a pick off in this opportunity they have.
Yeah, they're just saying, look, we'll let you have the top side of the map for a little bit. All we want is time. We want time for us to get closer to that BKB on Fu. We want time for the Dark Ascension to come back available.
Pylite Die is going to start the fight. So it's not Yokam that's getting the initiation, and SMG, they actually want to take this fight. They're starting to TP into the neighborhood. Moon, he holds back 2 with a chain. Solar Guardian's going to fly in. It's enough to keep Yokam alive for the moment, but instantly out they go. The lack of control, again, proving to be an issue for NGX.SEA. And what do you do now? Shapeshift, Solar Guardian completely expended. Maybe they look for mid one. Hang on, mid one. He's got Aegis, he's got BKB. They should be able to kill him off the first time, and they force a lot of reactions top as well. They don't have the outpost to be able to TP too. Starting to flock on down though, mid one. Pops the Dark Ascension is going to look to turn. The rest of the team soon to connect, and Moon is in the neighborhood for the team fight. Mizu's going to be okay for the moment. Same with Alacrity, but Fu is in with the black hole. The damage should be there. Gets rid of Mizu, but they've got to be cautious now. They've dived pretty deep, giving an opportunity for NGX.SEA to turn it around as Mid One flies to the safety. The high gun, beautiful armlet toggles will keep Mid One alive. NGX.SEA, can you go back for Rage Potato? Boombuoy chasing forward, Alacrity threatening as well, but Mid One, he wants another say at this. He's going to go back in.
To daytime.
Dark Ascension to expire. Maybe that'll be enough to hold them back and not get the kill, but with Moon, he freshens up in regards to the resources. Pylite Die gets a hook shot for another +1 as SMG, one by one they go. NGX.SEA just don't have the answers throughout this mid-game. As a position 2, Dawnbreaker will be killed off in between the tier 2 and tier 3 tower, and Dyer looking ever so crisp.
They've just got a full layout of the team fights, right? You've got the Dark Ascension, you've got the Jetpack as well on Pylite Die. He's tossing out some good rocket flares, catching the backline. It's just really solid all throughout by SMG, and well, again, they waited for that key timing, and that key timing was the Dark Ascension. Even just in the middle of that team fight, when Mid One was down to 10% HP, he used that vision just to scout out, is there any creep that I need to devour that DreamerCell's picked up? No, he hadn't. It had been removed previously. So then he just goes ahead and takes a neutral creep, so he's still fit and ready to fight. At least now, on DreamerCell, you've got the Drums of Endurance to be able to contribute something to your team. It's going to help the Razor a lot. It's going to help your Dawnbreaker a lot. But still, it just feels like this POS 1 Lycan isn't really doing much of anything.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I never like to call a game early.
You love it, don't you,
This
Star?
is Boombuoy. Oh, Pylite Die, look at that. The recognition that they know the Enchantress is dead. Why not look for the extra +1? A Solid Guardian just puts the Dawnbreaker in the middle of the fight. They're going to look to take the skirmish regardless, but they have no answers. Moon is playing them like a fiddle. So is Mid One. They soak away some of the damage, but instantly back to their side they go. As they're doing a decent amount at the moment, Mid One protected for the BKB, turns a beat onto Alacrity. Mid One beyond a god, like the unconventional carry, but the Night Stalker last week proving to be too much of an issue.
They've got a few seconds left on this Dark Ascension, so they can even convert it into a tier 1 tower, and it's going to be nighttime pretty shortly after as well. So things just going from good to better for SMG. Got that extra strength coming through, 2.5k HP to be able to chunk through. Just feels like a bridge too far for NGX.SEA. This could be their death knell here. They're forced to try and defend high ground, but no Glyph, no Dawnbreaker, who by far is the most effective team fighter that you've got right now in NGX.
Got the AC. Onto Mid One, you also have the Ike shot on Rage Potato. So plenty of damage, and there you go. Nighttime, back to work with... What's the call? You could 100% double back here if you're SMG. And they will do just that. Mizu has to respect this. Mid One, he's already pathing his way top. An easy kill onto Boombuoy. They've also got Moon that can instantly join. Meanwhile, mid lane though, Fu is in with a black hole. Rage Potato on the outskirts. DreamerCell, he might go down here. The shapeshift buying him some time, but it's not enough. Lycan's gone. Yokame's in with a decent combo. Two heroes have fallen on SMG, but they've still got Mid One and Moon in combination together. No answers from NGX.SEA. They'll hold back for the Night Stalker for the moment, but as soon as he turns it back around with the BKB, they need to retreat. Moon, mega killing streak. 1 death on the Ember, 1 death on the Night Stalker. The calls on SMG looking incredible. Not just them, but everyone. Every component has been required to have the game they're having in this third one.
I know it's important to hold your BKBs so that you're not just wasting them and then the enemy team's running away, but that was a time where they'd committed pretty heavily on SMG. Moon didn't have a lot of remnants to play around. Dark Ascension wasn't yet available, and it was a super late BKB usage by Mizu that meant that he wasn't able to get a good static link off, wasn't able to actually fight with any sort of damage. Same sort of thing with Alacrity. He just popped his BKB about 2 seconds before he died, so yeah, the impact just wasn't there. mean, even Dreamercell, right? He needs to spend something. He needs to buy this plate mail because a lot of the damage being done is still just physical, right? What's going to happen? You die and then you buy back and you don't have shapeshift? You're just going to lose the game anyway. So this is one of those instances where you just got to spend the gold while you got it, and maybe it enables you to survive a little bit longer.
Yeah, and look at mid one. Just beautiful read, just playing around their observable. It's the important thing, making sure that NGX.SEA just cannot get out of the map, and they did scout Mizu prior under that ward, and well, Paladai should be able to cancel the TP. The creep's proving to be an issue, but Pipe, he can just get over the side to be able to find the hook shot. Mizu is going to try and bring Paladai down to the afterlife with him. Can he do so before the kill? You bet he can, but of course it comes at a price. I mean, that's a hefty price. That's your off lane for your position 5.
I'm just trying to think how they can come back into this, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, did that courier die with a hyperstone on it? I feel like it did.
Radiant's top
The
tower
Dreamer
is
Cell.
under
Yeah,
attack.
it did. Yep.
Yeah, that ain't it.
And it's not a lineup like we've seen with the opportunity to cast NGX.SEA on when they got promoted from Division 2. And this was a team that was always playing off the back of this late game team fight. They would always be scary about turning a game around.
They drafted for early.
Yeah, exactly right. They drafted for early, and they don't have team fight. They don't have this potential where you can just, maybe throw a spanner in and catch them off guard. The only thing I can think of is a toss back into full drain. No, he's gonna run into Alacrity. BKB will do nothing to protect you. Paladai, beautifully done. Again, their observer ward's in perfect positions. Alacrity, oh, they got a bash. Oh, of course he got a bash. Meanwhile, Arthur and Raging Potato running into Yokam. The rest of NGX.SEA, they're going to try and take the fight. Arthur's in trouble. A black hole holding back the summons for the moment. Maybe buying some time for the rest of the team to connect. Arthur's still going to go down. Mid one's able to deal with the creep regardless, though. Where do they want to put their attention? Moon on the backline kills off Mizu. The shapeshift's soon to expire if they want to continue diving inside the base, but that will not be the case, because meanwhile they can get Boom Billy as well on the Enchantress.
Absolutely, they can. I think this game's over. They're just pushing in. Even with buybacks, it's going to leave you very short of being able to have the sustain against this, and they might look to close this one out.
Oh boy. Mid one, not the high
SMG,
fives.
Not the high fives. The tower will give it to him at the worst, but yeah, I agree, mid one. This is a nightmare for Nigma.SEA right now, and looks like they'll be able to secure this one, end the series, and end Nigma.SEA's Div 1 life.
Not like this. You don't believe in the 0%?
Is it 0?
Full. It is 0. It's been 0 for a bit.
Well, they could just Roche and then end it. Why not?
Such a beautiful game Dota is. We get to see again, a very unconventional carry getting picked up. Last pick, mid one, more than likely calling it. And what a game it is for the Night Stalker.
Nigma getting eliminated is beautiful. Wow. I don't think you thought that way.
What? Just gaslighting me. Classic Danog. Alright, the desperation. The last smoke.
Oh, the Eidolon. They just want to wait 5 seconds for it to go away.
What are they gonna do?
I don't know. They're gonna back off. They feel so helpless. They even would have seen that smoke as well. The base is warded. And then they go into the Roche pit, because why not?
Oh boy. Well, you're not going to be able to get outside the base now to contest it. So, second life given over to SMG. Agshot as well to be playing with. Looks like Moon. Yeah, why not give him the shard? He's got the blessing as well. Even quickening charm as well on the Ember. The Aegis did go into the hands of mid one. Almost level 25 as well. I wonder, surely you go the Dark Ascension cooldown. Just because of the Lycan.
He's got as much...
Alacrity might be in a bit of trouble. Outside the base, He's got the BKB if he feels required to be playing with it. Pilot dies. Going to be off the mark with the hook shot. But the Mega Creeps start to enter the base. The last fight seeming to be here for NGX.SEA. There we go. Moon instantly behind the T4 towers. And there we go. So much damage. Mizu has the BKB TP out. It might not be... Oh, just makes it actually. But mid one's like, all right, objective-based gaming.
They would have seen that smoke as well. Again, the power of this Night Stalker. He's going to move forward briefly to be able to block it out. Instantly just gets his creep removed.
Oh, Pilot die. What is that hook shot? 1-2 with a black hole from Fu. Closes the door in this third game. Buybacks are there, but Dreamer Cell's down for 45. Solid Guardian, but they'll instantly disperse away from this area. Look at the damage pumping in from afar from Raging Potato. The G's are dropped, and NGX.SEA, they will be the second team relegated out of Division 1. And SMG, they will be sticking around for next year's DPC.
It's well deserved by SMG. You know, their execution was just on another level today. And yeah, for sure, even just in game number 1, it was a draft issue. It was one that they addressed in game number 2 and game number 3, out executing. And we know that the peak for SMG is just that little bit higher. Obviously, having taken a series off of Fnatic previously, this isn't a bad team. So they won't be going to the major, but they're well worthy of their spot here in Div 1.
I'm not sure what's going on there. We saw mid one also tipping your cam at the end. Hate to put someone further into the ground after you just relegated them out of Division 1, but SMG, they'll be sticking around for NGX.SEA. Unfortunately, not the same fate. They're going to move down along with Polaris into Division 2 for the next DPC, but it was, again, another game where there was an interesting draft. At least this was a series where we had a lot of battle, a lot of blood, a lot of kills, and some drafts that were incredibly quirky. And this sets us up for a perfect way to be able to end the night as well, because our next series is another really important one as well, potentially determining some major slots. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We will send it over break, and when we come back, we've got the panel and an interview with one of the members on SMG.
They take game number 3, and by doing so, they crush the dreams of NGX.SEA staying in Division 1. So congratulations, big shout out to them. You're actually gonna clap to it
For breaking people's hearts.
Yeah, that's
Thank
it.
you,
Just
SMG.
absolutely stomping them into the gutter.
It was just like they gave him a little bit of hope. They're like,
Game
you
one,
could,
you
you
want
could
it."
win.
You know,
It's
Ninja Boogie was
coming.
getting ready for his tweet, and then he's like, oh man, I can't tweet today.
Oh my god.
Well, he can. You guys can check that one out, no doubt, on Twitter later. But we're going to break down this game number 3 here because it wasn't always in favor of SMG. There were a lot of good moments for NGX.SEA here. They had some good retaliations, things that I think this team will now forever be known for.
Yeah, they sure were reactionary. I mean, Alacrity just did a great job of counter-rotating, like, both with his ult and with TPs. Like, mid one was diving his offlaner, and he got that ult off, killed him. Just some nice moves, like, I think it was just, their lanes went pretty well for them. I know, like, Alacrity kind of pwned mid pretty hard. And it just led to them, like, I don't know, taking some nice fights. But the problem is, they just don't have stuns. They don't have catch. This whole game like evolved into like, oh, SMG have Black Hole and Nigma stun. They have the clock cogs in the hook, and they have chains, and they have a Gleipnir on the Ember, and all these things, and their Lycan doesn't even have a BKB. Like, look, he's literally just rooted. He can't do anything in this fight.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, Tiny was like, I mean, he's the only catcher playmaking / stun. And I just, like, there were multiple fights where Pilot I would just, as soon as he saw Tiny, he would hook shot in and throw away his life to kill the Tiny. Because he's like, if they lose Tiny, what is their team fight? Like, what do they do in a fight without Tiny? So Pilot I was happy just to kind of, you know, feed away his hopes of having a game to ruin Yokam's game. So it was kind of a pretty interesting game just because, yeah, once Tiny was dead, it was like, what do they do now?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate to see that happen 2 games in a row as well, right? That was something that you guys brought up in game number 2 was an issue. NGX.SEA weren't able to fix it for this game number 3, and so as it got later, those team fights really struggled for them. But SMG, they were able to still stay on top, capitalize on a lot of this stuff, and they knew that they at the end of the day, we're going to be able to outscale and out-team fight this this lineup on the side of NGX.SEA. But was there anything that stood out for you guys, SMG, when it came to how they were occupying the map, moving around, and really putting on that pressure?
They were pretty mobile. Like between, like Clock could find someone, hook them, and then like Ember can catch up. Night Stalker is able to like pop his ult and like kind of close the gap. They were kind of just running around picking people off because they had that lockdown to do it. Like we talked about, Nigma just don't have that. They would have a lot of creeps. And then they didn't really care about it because Night Stalker could eat it or Ember could just like kill them. And
that's actually a hero I want to talk about. That Night Stalker. We saw his items and his stats on screen just before. The issue we've seen in the past with Night Stalker carry is that you're waiting around this night time, right? And also the ult of Night Stalker. Did you feel that was something SMG did really well, and you didn't feel that they had an issue fighting around those timings?
I think they did a really good job. And the times when they somehow ended up in a fight where it was like daytime, it was always at like, okay, yeah, we don't have Night Stalker ult, but they also don't have Shapeshift, for example. So we could like, there were a few fights early on, like I think in that bottom jungle where it was like, okay, night's ending, the fight should end. But no, they'd already killed one, Tiny was dead, and two, Shapeshift was down. So they're like, we'll just keep fighting. Doesn't matter if mid one can't do a whole lot because you've got Moon playing Ember. And I think similar to the previous game where he's on Puck, it's this hero that's always ready to fight. I feel like SMG found this identity that works for them in this entire series, where you have Moon playmaking mid laner, low cooldowns, you have team fighters for Afu, you have Viper, just, hero that sits there and does annoying things on Raging Potato, and they just stuck to their identity. Mid one playing these super active carries. I like it. Like for me, going forward for SMG, if they can stick and find an identity that works for them and stick to it, it's a good sign.
Yeah, like adding on to this, I think Night Stalker works here because there's no playmaking from Nigma's side, right? Because the idea is he uses the nighttime, uses his ult, and then after that you go seek out their team and seek out a good fight. Who is seeking out the fight? And like you talked about already, like Clock was so on top of just catching Tiny every fight. If that happens, there is no one to initiate. There is no one to do anything. So they can just disengage or take the fight how they want to take it. It's just like, Night Stalker does really well in that situation because you're just not having your weakness exploited.
Well, fantastic last pick for SMG. It does help them a lot win this game at number 3, and it means that now they have to do the hardest part, a winner's interview. We're going to have Afu joining us for this. Afu, congratulations on the win. How do you feel knowing you guys are going to be staying definitely in Division 1?
I feel okay and normal. I think we're just doing our job.
Yeah. I want you to talk me through the draft a little bit, because I think a lot of people were very surprised with the heroes being picked for both yourself on SMG but also NGX.SEA. So what were you guys doing when you saw some of their picks, and what was your aim coming into the drafts for this series?
I will say I will start first. How we pick hero just like depends on what the player really like, right? Like if you see a Night Stalker carry is like very weird, but me one just asks for it, then we just pick it. We trust the player, whatever they say.
Okay. Are you afraid that at any point there won't be synergy with the heroes being picked if everyone's picking their own hero?
Synergy is like we practice a lot this kind of hero, right? Like let's say Nigma go to safe lane, he can play with any hero, so we don't care about that.
And what was the changes between game 1 and game 2 for you guys? Because in game 2 you looked great. You guys were a lot more aggressive, and the team fighting was fantastic compared to game 1.
They just give us the Enigma, right? So one of my players just tell us, hey, Enigma is our stronger strategy. Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay.
Then we just pick it.
All right, now just pick it.
Yeah. You mentioned maybe one of your strongest strategies, but for you as a player, you've in the past been known for more of your playmaking, like your Spirit. We saw you the Roche Steel. You played Clockwork. Do you prefer like playing more of the ganking style, or are you happy with like Enigma, the team fight ulti, the more team heroes? What do you kind of prefer?
Actually, I like ganking more. Like I like to keep playing around me, keep killing people, right? Yeah, that's how I play.
Do you feel like this patch makes it hard to play more active?
It's not. It's like depends on the heroes, right? Because I don't feel a Spirit is really strong this patch, so I just don't play. And I don't really play Tiny. That's why. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Obviously you are one of the goated Aegis stealing pos fours of the world. Do you really like seek that out? Like what goes into all these Aegis steals, bro? How are you so good at it?
I don't know. I just see okay, they're giving a chance, so I just take it. Actually, that one I can survive if I take a shot. I can just flying out, but I did not.
Well, it's also always very, very enjoyable watching you play, Afu. Congratulations again on the win and staying in Division 1.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. See ya. That's it. That's all. That's the insider knowledge you need to know to be able to still work
Just
like
get
that.
good, it sounded
Just
like.
be
Get good,
good.
guys.
And today, SMG were the team that were better. They were the quote-unquote get good team. But they'll be staying in Division 1. This win means NGX.SEA are definitely going down to Division 2, and it is a bittersweet. NGX.SEA and Polaris came up to Division 1 together last tour, and they'll be going back down to Division 2 together next tour. So comrades in arms, brothers in arms, you know,
Back to
win
where it all
together,
began. Yeah.
win together, lose together.
We're just going full circle with them.
We are. And there's been 2 coming up. Does that mean we'll be seeing RSG and Talon go down next
Well,
tour?
we're seeing them
Maybe.
play next series.
That's true. Good segue. We are going to be
Hey!
seeing Talon and RSG playing in this next series. It's going to be an interesting one. A lot rides on this. So after this break, don't go anywhere because it will be here.